Alright, people, so we are here currently post-recording my battle versus the Notorious H.I.M. Very excited to have battled them again. Of course, this is a family weekend, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to battle it. It was a small window of time that we were able to do it, and I had to make a competition on the same day. There was a little bit of miscommunication about who was making the competition, so they actually made a competition. Thankfully, Cobra saved the day and was able to help them transfer their whole team into Pokemon Violet, where they then joined my competition. And without that, we would not have been able to do the battle. Because after that, we were going out to eat, and the whole thing. So, thank you, Cobra, for saving the day, and for HIM for being willing to go through all those hurdles. Now, if we take a look at the team, there's not going to be any team builder this time. I just don't have time. I barely have time to get this recording in and edit. But I'll have a little pokey paste up on the screen right now, in between the team preview, just so you guys can see what I got cooking. The Metagross set, that grass knot expert belt, is specifically EV to take out Quagsire. I was surprised to see no glaring slowking. I figured that would kind of be a nice bit of wall and have Quagsire be max fizz def. So that was interesting to see. I'm going to lead off with the greninja here, though. I figured I kind of did want to lead off with the Sandy Shocks and the air balloon and just get my rocks up, but that felt a little bit too obvious. I was like, maybe they predict that. So let me just be safe. Let me lead Scarf Greninja. I can always just click U-turn. We do have a little bit of attack investment, if you might have seen from my Pokepaste, just for the low kick into the Excalibur. Ninja low-key being kind of an anti-pseudo-legendary, at least for the ones with the fighting, because the low kick hits very hard if it's base 120 power because it's stab. So it was EV to kill it. That's assuming, of course, there's no snow. Because with snow, the Baxcalibur is super duper bulky. But the good thing here, though, is we always have Hawthorne and we always have Palladium Bull, which can counter, or at least revenge kill, the Baxcalibur. Of course, Hawthorne, the Lycanroc, not as much, because obviously Ice Shard could probably take it out if it gets +1 speed. But apart from that, it should be okay, because Metagross is just going to be able to come in and easily tank any Ice Shards that want to throw at us and just bullet push and do 50% back. So Sandy Shocks is in now. Air Balloon was broken, which was kind of disheartening. It made me feel very vulnerable to excadrill at this point. So I was a little worried about something like a Scarf excadrill or an Air Balloon drill coming at this point. But overall, I mean, I obviously want to get rocks up against their team, because first of all, Baxcalibur, we find that without their boots, Typhlosion usually is not going to be boots. Usually it's going to be Scarf or Specs or something like that. So getting ship on that is great to weaken their eruptions. And obviously we have Hawthorne to accelerate that thing. So my full priority really goes in very well, especially against this team. So unfortunately, HIM has a bit of a rough matchup against my team. But hey, I've been there. I mean, I felt like that all season against some other teams. Here, I honestly, I was looking away from the screen for a little bit. I was like, did I miss an air balloon? I was like, is this actually air balloon Gardenek? And I just missed it because it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I was like, well, maybe they're Sugarberry. Maybe they're gonna hard switch. I was like, let me just be safe. Let me get some rocks up first of all. Before we do anything, let's get our rocks up. Let's get that thing straight. You guys know where my priorities lie. So they're also going to take this chance to get the rocks. Okay. I respect the game, HIM. I respect it. At this point, though, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do now? I really feel like the switch to thundurus here. I just really felt like that was going to come in. I felt like Earth Power was so obvious. I was like, are they going to switch to Air Balloon Drill? Are they going to switch into something else that can take this Earth Power? Because, I mean, Sandy Shark's Earth Power versus the Garganacl, that's going to go in pretty hard. So the powers of the gate are an absolute Mad Lad Legend, they stay in versus this thing and go for the Salt Cure versus me. I was like, well, okay. And so after this, I was like, well, I'm calling your bluff, H.I.M. They reveal their leftovers here, so I know they're not even Shook-a-Berry. And it confirms to me that they were not Air Balloon, because it didn't get popped. So I'm like, okay, I'm not missing anything. I'm like, well, what should I do here? I was thinking about going out into Kuzan on a potential Earthquake. But I was like, no, you know what? I mean, if you're gonna stay in like this, I mean, you're probably gonna stay in again, so I'm just gonna go for the Earth Power. Obviously, I can't go for Thunderbolt into Thundurus Incarnate because, yeah, look at that damage. I was like, wow, you would have just let it take it before. So, okay. I was like, even with the leftovers, they got no chance of surviving. So now, you know, this is where Benar would say, we have a little bit of a choice to make here. Are we going to predict them now to switch out on this turn? Or are they going to stand? And the reason why I was leaning towards Earth Power was like, even if they switch, that Thundurus, who I'm fairly certain is Scarf, I wrote it down on my notebook. Because I was like, for you to stay in against a greninja once a U-turn, yeah, they stay in. I just click Earth Power and the rank goes down. But the calculus was, even if the Thundurus was to come in, they would take Rock's Chip. And even if the excadrill was to come in, they would also take Rock's Chip. I was a little bit threatened by that, I'm not gonna lie. Because I don't even have moltres on this team, so honestly, excadrill is a bit of a problem into me, as I don't think I really have a switch in, honestly. I should have thought about that a little bit, right? Right not? No, I do have, I have Trigonal. Obviously, that's a 50-50 right now. If excadrill was to come in, I would basically just sack this thing off, and then go Cryogonal. And then once I Terra Water, I'm good, because then I resist the Iron Heads, and I'm immune to, well, I'm not immune because they're probably going to Mold Breaker Drill, but you guys know what I mean. I can at least tank it better, and then be able to tank it out with the Terra Blast Remover. So, that's that. So Sandy Shocks is in. It's taken a little bit of time to click through with. I was surprised. I was like, I feel like you just go excadrill. I actually bring in Baxcalibur first. I was like, huh. So they immediately let it take Rock's Chip. I was like, okay. That's a little interesting. Not gonna lie, if they did go drill, I was going hard. Annihlape every single time. I'm max HP, max def once again. Either the max HP would probably let me live most moves, and I would block the spin. I would be able to empower my Rage Fist if they did attack me. So I was like, okay, I cannot afford to let this thing set up, because I was calculating Bullet Punch and how much I could do to it. It was doing like 50. Even with the expert, I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, I think we'll do a little more. So I can't let this thing set up. So I am simply going to attack this thing and not let it try to get an Earthquake. I don't want to go hard Metagross. I don't want to ditch Earthquake or anything like that. I'm just going to attack it with Power Gem, see what happens. They do take out my Sandy Shocks, but it pretty much did its job. It got the rocks up. It was able to take out the Garganackle, which was a massive threat to my team, honestly. Because I don't think Hawthorne could close combat it, but Palladium didn't. Its strongest attack would say it was like Earthquake, which could probably still do a lot, but I didn't want to risk getting Salt Cured or things like that. So, right, because isn't Salt Cure super effective on steels and waters? I think that's how it works. Either way, Fuzon felt like the right play here, because at this point I can Rapid Spin, I can tank their ice type attacks. I don't know what they are, if they're banded or what they are. I know that for certain, and they're not life force, so it doesn't make you kind of wonder what I am could be. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a Rapid Spin here, and yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these rocks, just to assert my hazard dominance here. I would prefer for my mons not to get chipped every single time, because it feels like I'm gonna have to make a lot of switches over time. So they bring their Typhlosion hard, and actually perhaps expecting a Flash Cannon. I was tempted to go for it, but my first my first order of business was to rapid spin, and I knew that it would also give me a speed boost for this exact reason right here, to be able to Terra Water and be able to deal with this Typhlosion. I had to double check just to make sure that my Cryogonal was indeed a Terra Captain, that I wasn't going to get disqualified. I was like, okay, we're Terra Water, right? We're good. Because them going hard into this was like, huh. I was like, okay, I know they can Terra, so it was a bit of a ballsy play for me too to click this. I was like, what if they Terra Grass, anticipating my Terra Water? And I was like, well, that wouldn't be too bad. I'd still get chip off on them, like in their eruptions. And I mean, I already got rid of the rocks, and I got rid of their only stealth rocker at this point, so we're sitting pretty. We were going to just go for the Terra Blast Water here, and sure enough, we're fast. I mean, I knew I was fast right away because I had a speed choice scarf with my +1 speed. I am fairly certain that I'm max speed Cryogonal to my memory. So, yeah, there goes Cryogonal. And the Typhlosion is indeed down. So, we're sitting pretty good. Typhlosion was one of the few things that could stop my Metagross, which is looking fairly good. I really want to get that grass on off onto the Quagsire, who could potentially come here, although I mean, obviously I have Freeze Dry and my Cryogonal, so they actually do end up going Swagsire. Of course, this thing is a Terra Captain, so it's okay. They're probably gonna Terra into something, I'm not sure what. Either way though, Freeze Dry should do a heck of a lot. It's Stab, and my suspicion was that the Swagsire would probably be Fizdef. So I was like, okay, let me just go for the Freeze Dry, see how much I do. And sure enough, they Terra, and they're Terra Poison. I was like, oh, Terra Poison, okay. Not too shabby, sir. So at this point, I go for the Freeze Dry, and they of course take the Rock Chip. Do like 40%, maybe 40 something percent. They go for the Toxic, which is 100% guaranteed because they are Poison type. And look again, I see you, Swagsire. I see you, buddy. So, and they are not leftovers, so I was like, huh, what are these? They're not lefties. Maybe some type of berry. I'm not sure what they were. Either way, I am going to simply go out into my Palladium, as they can't go for Earthquake hard. I can't really go for Terra Blast here because it's probably going to be Water Absorb, even though it would be slightly stronger, but you know, they could be Water Absorb if I had to guess, you know, versus a Greninja. I would think they might be. So, I'm going to switch out here. Of course, they could be unaware as well. You know, never discount that. But we're just going to go out into Metagross here, who is, now they're going to go for Recover. I'm like, okay, that's probably fine. Obviously, I do threaten the Stab Psychic move here. I don't have it, of course, because I needed all these coverage moves. You know, Expert Belt on this thing is... I'm just really starting to like Expert Belt. You know, I didn't appreciate it that much, as much in the previous gens, because it's like, oh, I need Life Orb, I need 1.3. What's it called? Choice Band. I need that super powerful damage, but in Giraffe, whenever you can already calculate the move damage ahead of time for what you need to do, that 1.2 is enough sometimes, you know, if you can get the EVs in the right way. They go hard out into Drill, who I was like, okay, they're going to be airborne, but they're actually not airborne. So, they're just simply get taken out here. So I was like, wow, I was like, okay, excadrill, one of their best Pokemon, just taken out. I was like, okay. Kind of surprised by that, so that made me feel like I was in a really good position, because now those stealth rocks are good. Baxcalibur is going to take another 25%. This thing is also going to take another 25%. So at this point, obviously, I don't want to have to take as much damage, but I was looking at the team, I was like, they only have 3 mods left. I don't really need HP on this thing, honestly, because I'm going to go for Bullet Punch. So, they go for T-Bolt, they take me down quite a bit. I go for Ice Punch, do a lot to this thing, as they're going to go down. Now, I will say at this point, though, the Swag Sire could be a very threatening Pokemon because I do not have a lot to deal with it outside of this Metagross. Of course, there's Turquoise, and I do have the Earthquake that I would have really rather gone for the Grass not here. We'll see what they want to do. They do bring in Swag Sire. I was going to take the Rock Chip, which I do appreciate, 12% instead of like 6.5, whatever. So, I'm just going to go for Earthquake. I figure that I have enough in the back to be able to deal with Baxcalibur, so I'm just going to click it, go for Earthquake, and believe it or not, it does not kill. I figured to be pretty Fizz Death. They go for the spikes. I was like, what? I could have sworn they were going for Earthquake and take me out, but they actually go for the spike. I was like, okay. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or if they were just trying to get extra chip on my Pokemon. Maybe they thought they needed to break a Focus Sash and go for the in-game Baxcalibur. Either way, I'm just going to tend to go for Earthquake. And down goes this thing. As, yeah, the Psychic Fangs probably would have one-shot this thing if Earthquake was doing that much. If you factor in the can stab, I could have hit it. You know, 99 punch for Thundurus, and 99 punch for Thundurus, Bullet Punch for this, Grass Knot for base Swag Sire, and Earthquake for the Galarian Slowking. And we're just going to Bullet Punch and take this thing out. So, there we go. That is the game versus H.I.M. Metagross getting 4 kills. Expert Belt Metagross putting in the work. That's going to be GG's. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.